Hey everyone, and welcome to another week of Vlogtober goodness, where we're gonna have more house stuff to show you. We're getting ready for our party, but of course we are also going to be showing a lot more yarn. So October 13th, we had today's Beetlejuice yarn colorway, which, oh my goodness, it is fantastic. Again, not something that is in my usual palette. Well, I guess it is, because it is very rich and jewel toned, but it is not pink. Still lovely. Then we also had the Whimsy Goth countdown from Fangirl Fibers, which was also super jewel toned, also super gorgeous. They coordinated. What else can I say? It was a good day for yarn. I'm also really proud of myself because I have been keeping up with the coordinating alt knots crochet along. We are kicking off the week with another perfect tarot card, if you will. Today's card is the Queen of Pentacles, which is about all things work-life balance. I don't know about you guys, but I could really use that right now. But the Queen of Pentacles in tarot embodies nurturing, practicality, and abundance. She represents someone who is grounded, resourceful, and deeply connected to both home and work life, balancing these areas with care. The Queen encourages you to focus on your well-being, manage your resources wisely, and create a secure, nurturing environment for yourself and others. She reminds you to enjoy the fruits of your labor while still staying humble and generous. So I think when I was originally writing about this earlier, it's about you are very good at still accumulating wealth and working full time while also nurturing your home front. And I think in general I can be, although right now my career is causing me to take a back seat on the home front, which in turn is driving me batty to say the least. But in everyday life, this card invites you to take a balanced approach, whether it's in managing finances, caring for loved ones, or tending to your own needs. It's about combining practicality with compassion and finding stability in both material and emotional aspects of life, which is sorely needed for me right now. I have a lot of responsibilities both at work and at home, and I'm really struggling with finding a way to accomplish all of those things. And I know that there are going to be times where one needs to take priority over another, but that is impossible with everything that is going on right now. So basically I'm just working myself to death, and yeah, that's not a happy thing. Although I spent most of my morning editing last week's now Vlogtober, I did get over the new house. I wanted to get over there because I got this new light up pumpkin to put on display, and I am so happy with it. Look at all the light up signs. Which one's your favorite one so far?
I like the Seagrams mirror.
Which one's that one?
The one with the Seagrams and it's a mirror.
That one?
Yeah.
That's at the bottom of the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also, you put that guy up.
I thought it was too wide to fit in that space without looking weird. I was going to put it over there.
I like it there. It's sparklier than
Which?
that one.
That one.
Where was that before?
Next to the chalkboard.
Oh. We see you. Despite our best attempts to get everything over here in one fell swoop, we still keep finding Halloween decorations everywhere and just decorations in general. So I've been working my best to get everything set up before the party, and these are the results of some of my efforts. I really love this cabinet in particular because it has a lot of photos of, you know, my grandparents, his grandparents, and just some other things of sentimental value. And I'm working on getting those more treasured items out on display. I think my family is really going to enjoy seeing them as well. They haven't seen them in years. So it'll be great to kind of show them off as part of the new house. And if anyone wants to send us some new plants to put in the solarium, we would love that. But it is coming along. You know, the piano's up, decorated for fall, and the plants so far are doing really well. Once we'd had enough of the new house, we came back home and Scott made some brats on the smoker, some beer brats. They were really, really good. He was supposed to make them yesterday, but we just ran out of time, so we made them today. While Scott was busy bratting, I was busy photo editing. I finally got pictures of my Worst Witch scarf by Vanessa Ewing from Cape May Fiber, and I love it. I would highly recommend it if you can see her in person and get the kit. During dinner, I worked on my Alt Knots crochet along, which looked beautiful. I just absolutely love this color. And then Scott surprised me with Beetlejuice, which you can apparently buy on Amazon Prime. So that was a really nice, relaxing way to end the night. And then I also worked on my Beetlejuice blanket, which seemed only appropriate given the circumstances. It is coming along really, really nicely. I, of course, am super behind because I spent most of my October so far wrapping up my Worst Witch scarf, which also came out really well. But I'm really enjoying working on this blanket in my free time as well. I think I mentioned it before, but the fall puts me in a crocheting mood. It's just so cozy, and I love this pattern, and I love the way that the yarn is working up in it. So it was kind of a perfect Sunday night. Ugh, it's Monday, and I'm just very much not ready. I'm exhausted just thinking about this week, but it's fine because we have a new project to work on. We've got my Beetlejuice blanket, and today we got some more amazing yarn. Today's color was this beautiful blue and white variegated situation. A lot of the colors that I've been crocheting with up until now have turned into more muted, kind of sandy colors. So I'm excited to get back into working with rich tones. Likewise, the Gothic Whimsy countdown from Fangirl Fibers does not disappoint once again. We have this gorgeous seafoam, kind of variegated, I suppose, maybe more of a tonal, that is going to look amazing in the granny square that I'm working up for the Alt Knots crochet along. Today's tarot card draw is one that is probably going to ruffle some feathers. It is the Death card, and this is one of the most feared cards, I believe, but it doesn't symbolize what a lot of people think that it symbolizes. So it's frequently misunderstood, but really represents transformation and new beginnings, not literal death. So it represents the end of one phase and the start of another, encouraging us to release what no longer serves us, whether it's old habits, relationships, or ways of thinking. So in everyday life, in the way that, I could use this information to apply it to what I'm going through right now, you can use this card as a reminder that change, though sometimes uncomfortable, is necessary for growth. It's about letting go, clearing the path for something better, and trusting the process. Rather than fearing it, embrace the card's message of renewal and personal evolution. So that's how I'm choosing to look at this today. I am, in a lot of ways, stressing myself out over things that I cannot control, and I think it's time to let that go, and move on, and just continue looking forward instead of looking back. Just put everything behind me and keep looking toward the future. So yeah, it was a weekday, a work day, not a whole lot to discuss, but I did catch up on some Vlogtobers while working on my granny square, my planchette for the Alt Knots crochet along blanket, which is coming out beautifully. I did also just want to mention that I finished my book, The God of the Woods, and it was fantastic. Like 10 out of 10, highly recommend that one if you are a Book of the Month subscriber and want to pick it up. And since then, I've started a new book called When I'm Dead. So I will let you know how that one goes. To be honest, Tuesday wasn't much more eventful than Monday. Reminder that my calendar doesn't have a 6, so we had to improvise. So if that doesn't, tell you how the day was about to go, then I don't know what does. But the good news is that I was able to kick off a new project. So as you know, I finished my fairground socks last week, or was it sometime over the weekend? I don't even know anymore, but make sure to check out my Instagram for a final picture of what those look like. They came out amazing. But now it is time to start another pair. So I am using the this is the October colorway of the Freckled Whimsy Halloween Club. This is on their Serendipity base, and it is called Spooky Town. So it is some gorgeous purples, greens, and I guess a dark gray is what's in there as well. So I'm really excited to knit up the October colorway in October using Kay Jones from Bakery Bear's Fairground Socks pattern. Like I always say, that is my go-to pattern for self-striping socks. And it was really nice to get another pair of socks on the needles. You know, it's been a couple days since I've had a pair to work on, and it's been nice to take a break. But I'm really looking forward to hopefully finishing another pair before the end of the month for Sockoween. My buddy Ziggy helped me open my yarn today. He is always a pleasure, and he loves going through my yarn and opening it up with me. But he really enjoyed today's color, which is very similar to yesterday's in terms of the variegation, except instead of blue, today we have purple. So again, still leaning in toward those richer tones. It'll be interesting to see how these play together. And then, of course, we had the Whimsy Goth Countdown, which was also very similar to yesterday's color, just not as rich, vibrant, I guess you could say. It was more of a light seafoam than the seafoam that we opened yesterday. So I think this is equally beautiful and can't wait to work with it. Today's tarot draw is actually a positive card, not one that you really have to dig deep to identify it as positive. So today is the Two of Cups, which in tarot symbolizes harmony, partnership, and mutual respect, often related to relationships or emotional connections. So it represents balance, equality, and the deep bond between two people, whether that's romantic, friendship, or even a business partnership. In everyday life, this card would encourage us to nurture healthy, balanced connections where both sides give and receive equally. I can tell you at work right now that I seem to be the one doing all of the giving, and it's driving me up a wall. But it's also a reminder to approach relationships with open communication, trust, and kindness, rather than focusing on conflict. I guess I just did that. It asks you to seek cooperation and unity, celebrating the beauty of shared energy and mutual support. Okay, fine, tarot. I will improve my communications and try to stop complaining. Except, no, I won't, because I have felt like crap this entire week. And I know it's only Tuesday, but I woke up with a migraine. My throat hurts. I can't tell if I'm sick or have allergies, and basically I'm kind of miserable. So the only way I wanted to end this day was with a delicious cup of pumpkin spice tea and crocheting on my granny squares, which I did complete for the day. So not all was lost. All right, well, we've made it to Wednesday, and I'm a level with you. There is so much going on with work that I don't think there's going to be a ton of content for this episode of Vlogtober. You're basically just getting me opening yarn, and I don't think any of you are going to find a problem with that, to be honest. But today's Beetlejuice yarn was another kind of gorgeous blue variegated. We are kind of in that cooler colors phase with these, and I think it's going to look really good with the other colors that we've been opening this week, and I'm excited. Our Wednesday Whimsy Goth colorway was a little different. I was not expecting this one, but maybe I was. It's kind of bronzy, definitely like an autumnal brown with hints of gold, and now that I'm looking at it and the packaging, I think it might be meant to be like the bronzy goldish colors that are part of the whole Whimsy Goth colorway. So very, very pretty. Today's tarot draw is another one that really hits home. So I drew the Seven of Pentacles, which is a card of patience, reflection, and hard work paying off. It symbolizes taking a moment to pause, assess your progress, and ask, is this the right path? Are my efforts yielding the results I desire? In my life, in some ways, yes. We just had our compensation review for the year, and I have been compensated appropriately. I will just say that. So in that area, I do feel successful and like I'm accomplishing some of my goals, which is financial comfort and being able to afford the new house I just bought. But in everyday life, this card reminds us to step back and evaluate. So are we putting our energy into something worthwhile, whether it's a project, a relationship, or even personal growth? It's about knowing when to push forward and when to pause and re-strategize. And really, instead of rushing toward a finish line, it really just encourages you to trust the process. Take time in your work, but also remember that sometimes the best results come with time and thoughtful adjustment. Long story short, it's important to pause, reflect, and keep nurturing your path. And I think that's fair. You can't always be running forward at full speed all of the time. Even when you're talking about working out, you need your rest days to improve your work days. And that is how I am choosing to apply this card to my life at the moment. The rest of the night was just almost exactly how I wanted it to be. I have been in and out of the weirdest work meetings all week. Some of them after hours, most of them just very racking on my brain. But I was able to sit down and crochet today's granny square and hang out with Mr. Ziggle, who burrowed under the blanket with us. He's a big burrower. I don't know if y'all have dogs who really like to burrow under blankets, but he's definitely a big fan and I love it too. And then once I had finished my granny squares and whatnot, I enjoyed watching Scott play Fortnite. I watched some podcasts while I crocheted on my Beetlejuice blanket and just generally relaxed. Like I said before, I don't know if it's allergies or the change in seasons or if I'm actually getting sick. At this point, I doubt I'm coming down with a cold, but my throat hurts. I'm having a lot of trouble just speaking, making it through my day and not feeling like I am, going to have an alien burst out of my throat. Like that's how bad it feels. So I guess all we can do is see how the rest of the week plays out and keep drinking tea. Welcome to Thursday, or as I like to say at work, Happy Friday, Junior. It's starting to feel like we might actually survive this week. Well, I might not because my throat still hurts and my postnasal drip is driving me crazy. But we're gonna do what we got to do. My morning kicked off with knitting on my latest edition of the Fairground socks using the current month's Freckled Whimsy colorway and her Haunted Sock Club. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that, but I do. But her Halloween yarn club is phenomenal, and I originally wasn't sure how I felt about this color and if I would like it and or get Halloween vibes from it, and now that it is knitting up, I can 100% for sure say that I do. It is a lot of purples, grays, and greens, which screams witchy to me. So I believe this colorway is called Spooky Town, and it definitely feels like Halloween. So I'm really glad that I randomly chose to pick this up given what's available in my craft room right now versus what's at the new house, and I'm really enjoying the way that it works up. Today's Beetlejuice countdown from the Little Wolf Knits might be my favorite color yet, and this is going to surprise you because we have had pinks in this countdown calendar, and still my favorite is this one. It just screams Halloween to me. You've got the oranges, greens, the grays, kind of like a cooler purpley gray, but not quite purple, and I just think it is perfect. Our Whimsy Goth countdown for the day was a little bit reminiscent of yesterday's. So here we have another gold color. It is not as brown or autumnal as yesterday's. Definitely more on the gold side. This reminds me of like those crisp yellow leaves that you get in places if you get fall anymore, which it feels like we don't here in PA, but it is one of my favorite gold colors. With our tarot draw for Thursday, we are going back to the beginning with the Ace of Pentacles. So whenever you draw an ace, we are talking about new beginnings. So this, of course, represents opportunities, abundance, a seed, whether in your career, finances, or health, that's ready to grow if you are ready to nurture it. This card is all about potential and a chance to manifest something tangible and rewarding. Now, to apply this in everyday life, the Ace of Pentacles encourages you to seize opportunities when they appear. Good to know. Whether it's a new job offer, a personal project, or even an investment in your well-being, this is your sign to plant that seed and watch it flourish. If you've been paying attention, though, this is not the first Pentacles card I received this week. So the reason that you might want to investigate why you're getting the same type of suit in a row, or why you may be interested in getting Pentacles multiple times in a row specifically, is that Pentacles relates to the material world. So we're talking work, finances, health, and security. So if you personally are focusing on those areas, then the cards might start to reflect this. It could also be a reminder to ground yourself, prioritize stability, or make practical decisions to build a solid foundation, which, whatever. I know that I personally am focusing a lot on my career right now, and I have a few work trips coming up, one of which is next Thursday to New York City to coordinate with some of my colleagues. And that work focus, I think, is neither good nor bad right now, but definitely something to take into account with these cards. Another night where not a whole lot was going on, but also another night where I get to feature Ziggy and his fluffy butt. I, once again, proud of myself for keeping up with my alt knots crochet along featuring the Whimsy Goth Advent. Here's what all of the colors look like together. I'm gonna have to start sewing these squares together because I'm running out of room on my blocking board. But I do think they look really, really, really great together, and these colors are, I don't know, it's gonna look so, so good. As I always say around this time of the week, TGIF. I had approximately 5 meetings and a ton of work standing between me and the weekend. So to tide myself over until absolute freedom, I had yarn to open. So of course I went ahead and did that. Today's Beetlejuice countdown from Little Wolf Knits was this gorgeous purple and green color that is very Beetlejuice coated. You know, typically we see the black and white, but there are also lots of purples and greens in there. So I really loved opening this one up. And then of course we had the Whimsy Goth countdown from Fangirl Fibers, where we got another gold color. So I'm really enjoying these golds. To me, they are super fall themed and really get me in the spirit of the season. But I'm also not gonna lie in that I'm ready for some other colors. Not that we've had like a ton of browns and golds or anything like that, but I'm ready for something new. Friday's tarot draw was not necessarily a fun one, but as with all things tarot, you can interpret what you want out of it and make it a positive. So today we had the Five of Cups, which often represents loss, disappointment, and emotional setbacks. It's a card that acknowledges grief and regret, but also offers hope. So there's our positivity. While you may feel focused on what's gone wrong, the card reminds you that not all is lost. There are still opportunities and support behind you. So in everyday life, this card encourages you to process your emotions, but to not get stuck in them, which is something that happens to me a lot, at least personally. I'm not sure about you guys, but I tend to get stuck in thinking about where things went wrong, how they went wrong, things like that. It's okay to mourn what didn't work out, though, a failed plan, a broken relationship, or even a missed opportunity. But the Five of Cups also urges us to turn around and notice what still remains and what can be rebuilt. Being Friday after yet another difficult week where I felt like crap the whole time, and P.S. I still do, I had grand plans for the night. I ordered Thai food, I got drunken noodles again, and I sat down to watch reactions to the latest episodes of Love is Blind with Mr. Ziggles. while I worked on my latest square for the alt knots crochet along. I don't know how y'all are feeling about the season of Love is Blind. It is awful. These people are awful. They make me want to scream, and they're just really, really terrible. So I've been enjoying watching these reaction channels to feel like I am not alone in this. And boy, do I know that I'm not alone in this. Like, if you read any of the Reddit forums, everyone hates this season, and everyone on the season is intolerable. So anyway, that was what my main plan for Friday was, in terms of like relaxing and enjoying my life a little bit. But I was also going to buy tickets for the Jingle Ball, which I eventually was able to. But if you don't know, the Jingle Ball is an annual virtual Christmas event hosted by Lindy Stitches and a lot of other designers in the cross stitch space. And you sign up for basically a weekend of exclusive patterns and classes and whatnot. However, it seems like we crashed the website. So instead of being in and out of the website in a couple minutes and getting back to my evening, I spent a lot of time trying to troubleshoot getting into the website to begin with. Don't worry, I was able to get it, but it was about an hour and a half later of troubleshooting and joining her live and talking to people. If you ever want to know the character of a person, watch what happens to them when technology doesn't work and how they react to it. Stephanie was getting horrible personal messages like over email, and the chat and the Instagram live was popping off, not in a good way, and the comments on the post were really terrible, and it was just horrible to watch go down. As someone who works in technology, all I can do is tell y'all that not everything goes to plan, and you really need to think about how whether or not that impacts your life in any special way. We're not saving lives here. No one's life is on the line. It is a minor inconvenience, and y'all need to calm down. And honestly, after that whole experience, I was really happy because I did get the kit and the class for Satsuma Street, which I'm really excited about. But, you know, just the general demeanor of humanity really irritated me, and so I went to bed early. I typically look forward to Saturdays to begin with, but I was looking forward to this Saturday in particular because I was going to go visit my parents, which I'll get into in a little bit. But first, let's talk about the Beetlejuice countdown from the Little Wolf Knits. Today's colorway was called a Beautiful Bunch, and it turned out to be just this gorgeous, like, light blue teal orangey situation it reminds me of beachiness, and I really enjoy it. I think we're getting a lot of variety in this countdown, which is going to look amazing in the blanket that I'm crocheting. Just wait until you see today's Whimsy Goth countdown from Fangirl Fibers. So if you recall yesterday, I said I was ready for a little bit more variety, and oh boy, we are back into the pinks. So my body is ready. You could give me, and I have had, entirely pink countdown calendars, and I will not get sick of it. So even if I ask for variety, as long as it's these types of pinks, I am in my happy place. Today's tarot draw is kind of exciting, I suppose. It's another page card. So typically when you get a page card, it symbolizes something new, that you're on the beginning of a journey, right? So in this case, being that we have the Page of Swords, it's representing curiosity, mental energy, and a thirst for knowledge. It often symbolizes new ideas, clear communication, and the eagerness to learn something new. Generally, this card encourages you to stay sharp and stay open to fresh perspectives. Now, when you want to go and apply this to your everyday life, the Page of Swords invites you to embrace your curiosity. So, are there skills you've been wanting to learn or ideas that you've been hesitant to pursue? now is the time to explore them. Really, this card is reminding you to ask questions, seek truth, and engage in thoughtful conversations. Just be careful not to rush. It can be a card of excitement, but also of learning how to harness that mental energy productively. And I do feel like I'm going through this a lot, not only at work, but on the home front. On the home front, I want to knit and crochet all of the things. This is the time of year where my creative spark ignites, and I just want to make stuff and focus on my creativity and my family and my friends. It's that cozy time of year, and work is getting in the way. So I need to channel that creative energy productively, like it mentions, and figure out how to calm myself down really and make time for the creativity that I'm like really trying to get back into, while also making sure that I stay productive. And kind of the same thing on the work front, especially on the clear communication side. We are really struggling with communication at work right now, and figuring out how to approach that with multiple people cross-functionally is definitely a bit of a challenge. I am heading to my parents' later today to hang out with my mom while my dad runs some errands. And I thought that I would take the first 10 squares of the Alt Knots crochet along with my fangirl fibers with me to figure out, well, to start sewing the appliques on. So I'm watching Alt Knots video right now and trying to figure out what I need to do. So she starts out like this with all of the appliques on the same color as the squares, and we're gonna do some rigging to move the ghosts onto new squares. So let's figure out what that looks like. It looks like all we did was, it was really easy. You just took the applique from day 1 and shifted it onto the square from day 2, and the applique from day 2 and shifted it to square number 3, and I think it looks good. I thought I might have more shifting around to do just because of how the blue looks on the black, but it's actually not terrible. Generally, I was concerned about the contrast, but I think we might be okay. So I'm going to take these with me to my parents today and start sewing them on, I guess. And that's gonna be awful, but I'll let you know how it goes. With that, I packed up more crafts than a normal person would be able to accomplish in a week, let alone a day. But I didn't know what I wanted to work on, but I did know that I would have a lot of time at my parents' to work on things. So I packed everything up, hopped in the car, got to my parents. For those who don't know, they live about 90 minutes away, and hung out with my mom and dad and their cat all day. I was able to get some work done on one of Scott's anniversary presents. So can you guess what it is? Like, just from taking a look at this, I'm curious to know if you can tell what it is. I doubt he will actually watch this entire video before our anniversary. So while I'm not going to mention what it is, I'm just, I wonder if it's a little bit obvious. I was not expecting to spend nearly 4 hours sewing these appliques onto the granny squares, but that is how long it took. Maybe I'm just being a little too meticulous with them, I'm not sure, but that was just the way of things. And to confuse things even more, the way that I entertained myself while I sewed on these appliques was to hang out with my mom while my dad ran errands, and we watched Hallmark Christmas movies. Yes, Hallmark is doing their countdown to Christmas, and so we watched a really cute one where these people, I don't know, I missed the beginning of it. This man and this woman, surprise, surprise, work together, and they have to develop some type of scavenger hunt in Chicago using more like local themes to get things done. And it was a really cute scavenger hunty type game, but I did get 8 of the squares done before leaving for the day, and they look great. I'm just gonna lob up some really gorgeous videos of the way my dad decorated the outside of their house to end the video with, because my dad does a really great job with the yard. It's one of his favorite things to do, I think, is decorate for all of the holidays, and it was a beautiful day to take a 90-minute drive back and forth to my parents' house and enjoy the sunshine. It was like perfect weather, the whole shebang. So I thought I would round out the video with what their yard looks like. All in all, this is one of the shorter Vlogtobers I have posted. Work has been crazy. I haven't had the mental capacity, and I'm just tired. I've been going to bed early every night this week. I've barely been reading. I have been keeping up with my alt knots crochet along, so go me. Very proud of myself for doing that. But otherwise, just trying to keep my sanity while prepping for our open house, our Halloween party, our anniversary, a work trip to New York City that I wasn't expecting, and also a work trip the first week of November on the other side of the country in Anaheim, which at least I get a day in Disneyland out of it. But let's just say I'm very, very stressed out with how much I need to get done. But that's it for this week's Vlogtober. We'll see if I survive the week, and I'll see you in the next one.